From our archives, the Billy Graham Classics.
Sometimes life feels like a waiting room. Endless days where we wonder if the universe still remembers our name. But the angels say the letter is on its way. Not a letter written on paper, perhaps, but one written in moments, in signs, in the language only your soul understands. This letter is not bound by ink or sealed by envelopes. It is carried by unseen hands, delivered in whispers of intuition, in the soft glow of morning, when hope feels fragile yet alive. It is the assurance that your heart's longing has not gone unheard. The angels say that love, true love, does not lose its way. Even if the path is winding, even if years have blurred the lines, the message meant for you will find its way home. It may arrive in unexpected forms, a gentle smile, an unshakable peace in your chest, a meeting that feels like remembering rather than discovering. Divine timing is one of those truths that feels easy to say but hard to believe. While we are waiting, in our human way, we often try to schedule our blessings as if life were a train timetable. We imagine that if something has not arrived yet, it must be delayed, lost, or perhaps never coming at all. But in the higher order of things, there are no accidents, no missed deliveries, no forgotten names. What is meant for you is carefully guided, protected, and prepared, so that when it arrives, it comes in a way that fits perfectly with who you have become. Imagine a letter written long ago, sealed with love, and carried not by the winds of chance, but by the steady hands of the divine. It does not rush. It does not wander aimlessly. It follows a path that only it knows. Its timing is not random. It is precise. Every moment of waiting refines you, teaches you, softens you, where you were rigid, and strengthens you where you were fragile. Sometimes the delay you fear is not a punishment, but a preparation, ensuring that when this message of love finally reaches you, you are ready to receive it fully. If it had come earlier, perhaps you would not have recognized its meaning or trusted its truth. You might have overlooked it, thinking it just another passing note, rather than the symphony your soul has longed to hear. The universe does not make that mistake. It does not hand treasures to unready hands, because love deserves to be met with clarity, not confusion. When we talk about divine timing, we are really talking about trust. Trust that there is a wisdom beyond your own planning. Trust that your life is not unfolding at random. Trust that the seasons of longing, of stillness, of unanswered prayers are not empty but sacred. They are the silent hours where unseen forces are arranging pieces you cannot yet see. The angels whisper that nothing good is ever lost. It is simply arriving in its season. Just as winter cannot rush spring, no amount of fear or impatience can force love to bloom before its appointed hour. Think of the moments in your life when something came unexpectedly, yet felt as though it had been waiting for you all along. That is the nature of divine timing, sudden yet deeply familiar, surprising yet perfectly aligned. You realize in that instant that it could not have happened any other way or at any other time. This is what the angels mean when they say the letter will reach you. It is not about forcing the post to run faster. It is about trusting the postmaster of the universe, who never misplaces what belongs to you. So instead of asking, when will it come? You begin to ask a better question. Who am I becoming while I wait? For in the waiting, you are being shaped into someone who can not only receive love, but keep it, nurture it, and recognize its depth. The timing is perfect, not because the universe is cruel or withholding, but because love deserves to meet you at your highest, not at your half-finished self. By understanding this, you learn to release your grip on the clock. You stop treating time as your enemy and start seeing it as a sacred ally. You learn that every sunrise between now and that destined moment is part of your preparation, not a delay. And when that letter finally finds its way to you, whether in a glance, a word, a feeling that stops you in your tracks, you will know with unshakable certainty this was not late, it was right on time. When we imagine a letter, we think of ink on paper, a message sealed in an envelope, carried by hands we can see. But the angels speak of a different kind of letter, one not written by pen, but by experience, by whispers in the heart, by signs that only you can recognize. This letter does not depend on postal services or human messengers. It arrives in moments that feel alive, moments that reach straight past your thoughts and into your soul. The message from your soulmate may not come as neat sentences. It may not even come in words at all. It might be the sudden sense of peace washing over you after a long season of doubt. It could be a melody you hear by chance that feels as if it was composed just for you. It might be the way a stranger's smile catches you off guard, reminding you that the world is warmer and more connected than you realized. This letter is really the universe's way of saying, you are seen, you are loved, you are not forgotten. Often we expect love to announce itself with trumpets and banners, but more often it arrives softly, quietly, in ways that bypass our logic. A conversation that feels oddly familiar, a coincidence that seems too perfect to ignore, a feeling of being guided towards something or someone. These are all forms of the letter. They are spiritual handwriting, traced not on paper but on the living pages of your days. To recognize this kind of letter, you must listen with more than your ears. You must pay attention to what stirs your heart in ways you can't explain. You must trust that not every message needs to arrive in material form to be real. Sometimes the proof of its truth is not in seeing it, but in feeling it. When you sense that deep alignment, that quiet certainty that something has shifted in your life, even if you cannot point to a single event, that is the letter being delivered. Think of how nature communicates without words. The sky does not explain itself when it bursts into color at dawn, yet you understand the message light has returned. A tree does not give you a speech when it blossoms, yet you understand the truth. A season has changed. In the same way, this message of love comes not with explanation, but with recognition. It tells you in the language of the soul that the connection you have longed for is real and already moving towards you. This letter is also not limited to romance. It is about the meeting of souls, two lights that recognize each other across time and distance. The letter could arrive through a mentor who appears at the right moment, a friend who feels like family from the first hello, or even through an inner awakening that reconnects you to yourself. In every case, it carries the same meaning. You are loved beyond what you can measure, and the universe is always speaking to you if you dare to listen. Do not expect this message to fit into the neat boxes of logic or human timing. Do not dismiss it if it comes in an unexpected form. A dream that stays with you all day. An intuition that refuses to fade. A sudden burst of courage to open your heart again. These are letters just as valid as anything written with ink. They are delivered not to your doorstep but to your spirit, which is always ready to receive what it has been calling for. In understanding this, you stop waiting at the mailbox of life for a single envelope and start looking for the divine handwriting scattered everywhere. You realize the letter is already on its way, not bound to paper, but carried in the current of your days. And when it reaches you, you will not need anyone to confirm its authenticity. Your heart will read it instantly and know, this is the message I have been waiting for. True connection has a way of enduring beyond obstacles, distance, and even time itself. When something is genuinely meant for you, it does not vanish just because circumstances seem to push it away. It may slip from view for a while like the sun behind clouds, but it does not cease to exist. The angels remind us that love written into the fabric of your life will always find its way back to you, even if the path winds through places you never expected. Think about how rivers carve their way to the sea. They twist, they bend, they encounter rocks and detours. Yet they never forget where they are going. In the same way, a soul connection follows its course. You may take different roads, go through separate experiences, and even feel as though what you longed for is lost forever. But real connection is not fragile. It is not dependent on perfect conditions. It is resilient, living beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to rise again. Sometimes, the delays or detours in love are not signs of loss, but signs of preparation. Both souls are being shaped, learning what they must learn so that when they meet or meet again, the connection can flourish rather than falter. If it arrived too early, before either side was ready, it might have been overlooked or mishandled. The universe, in its wisdom, protects what is sacred by allowing time and growth to do their work. This is why it is so important not to cling to fear when things seem uncertain. Fear says it's gone forever. Trust says if it is real, it cannot be lost. Fear looks at endings as permanent. Trust sees them as turning points. When you hold on to this truth, you learn to rest in the knowledge that what is yours in spirit cannot be taken away by circumstance. It may leave your sight, but it will not leave your life. True connection does not always show itself in constant communication or physical presence. Sometimes it is a thread you feel quietly, an unspoken knowing, a sense of alignment you cannot explain. Even when silence falls, the thread is not cut. Even when people take different paths for a season, the deeper bond remains intact. Like a melody you can't forget, even when the music stops, the connection lives on, waiting for its cue to return. Recognizing this changes how you wait. You stop searching in panic and start living in peace. You understand that your task is not to chase love, but to become the person who can welcome it when it arrives. You grow, heal, and stay open so that when the connection comes back into view, you can meet it with clarity rather than confusion. And when it does appear in a moment, a glance, or a sudden feeling of homecoming, you will not have to question it. You will know because the bond will feel like remembering something rather than discovering it for the first time. That is the sign of a connection that has never truly been lost. The angels say this with certainty: what is written for your soul does not need to be forced. It travels its own road, guided by hands unseen, unaffected by delay or detour. When it arrives, it will not feel hurried or strained. It will feel inevitable, as though the universe has been holding it safely for you all along. Keeping your heart open is one of the bravest things you can do. It sounds simple, yet it is often the hardest step on the path to love and connection. When you've been hurt, disappointed, or let down by people you trusted, your first instinct is to build walls. You tell yourself you're only being wise, protecting yourself from being wounded again. But the angels remind us that love cannot enter a fortress. It needs open gates, not locked doors. Closing your heart may feel safe in the short term, but it also keeps out the very blessing you are longing for. Love does not fight its way through fear. It looks for a space where it can be welcomed. An open heart is not about being naive or ignoring past pain. It is about healing in such a way that you no longer let the past decide your future. It is a conscious choice to believe that not every hand reaching toward you is here to harm you, that not every new chapter will repeat the old. Staying open begins with trusting yourself. You may not be able to control what others do, but you can learn to recognize what is good for you. You can develop the wisdom to see red flags without letting fear turn everything into a warning sign. An open heart does not mean you let everyone in without discernment. It means you refuse to let bitterness close you off from real connection. Sometimes we guard our hearts because we are still carrying old wounds that never fully healed. Those wounds whisper lies. You're not worthy of love, or if you open up again, you'll just get hurt. Healing silences those lies by proving them wrong. Each step you take to love yourself, to treat yourself with kindness, makes it easier to believe that others could love you too. When you feel whole on your own, opening your heart no longer feels like a risk. It feels like a gift you're strong enough to give. Another part of staying open is letting go of expectations about how love must arrive. When you expect it to look a certain way, you might miss it when it comes in a form you didn't imagine. An open heart is curious rather than rigid. It listens more than it judges. It is willing to explore, to feel, to grow, to see people and experiences for what they truly are rather than what you fear they might be. The angels also say that openness is magnetic. When your heart radiates warmth, it draws love and kindness toward you naturally. People can sense it not because of anything you say, but because of the way you carry yourself. You're no longer holding life at arm's length. You're inviting it in. Even before your soulmate's message arrives, your openness becomes a signal to the universe. I am ready. I am willing to receive. This does not mean you won't face moments of hesitation. Courage does not erase fear. It moves forward despite it. To stay open is to remind yourself again and again that you are strong enough to handle whatever comes. If love is true, it will honor your openness. If it isn't, you will still have the strength to walk away without letting it harden you. Either way, your heart remains free, not trapped behind walls, but alive, breathing, ready for the connection meant for you. An open heart is like a window to the soul. It lets light in, even when storms pass outside. And when the letter from your soulmate finally arrives, whether it comes as a feeling, a meeting, or a moment of deep recognition, your openness will allow you to recognize it instantly. You won't be too guarded to receive it or too doubtful to believe it. Instead, you will feel what the angels have been saying all along. Love is safe to welcome when it's real, and it can only find you if your heart remains open. When the message of your soulmate finally reaches you, there will be no confusion, no second guessing, no need to analyze every detail to prove it is real. You will recognize it instantly because it will resonate deeper than words. It will feel like a truth your soul has always known, quietly waiting for the moment to be spoken aloud. This kind of recognition is not dramatic or chaotic. It is calm, steady, and undeniable, like meeting someone you somehow feel you've known forever. So much of life teaches us to doubt our own instincts. We question every feeling, wonder if we're imagining signs, and fear being wrong. But real love carries a different energy. It does not arrive dressed in confusion or coated in anxiety. Instead, it feels clear, grounded, and peaceful, even when the circumstances around it seem surprising or unexpected. That is how you know the message is genuine. It does not need to shout to prove itself. This recognition happens on a level beyond logic. It is not about how someone looks, what they say, or how perfectly they match a checklist. It is about the way their presence fits with yours, the way your heart reacts before your mind has time to argue. Imagine a melody you have never heard before, yet somehow know how to hum along to. That is the feeling. It is not about figuring it out. It is about feeling at home in it. This clarity also comes from the inner work you have done while waiting. By learning to trust yourself, by healing past wounds, you become better at discerning the real from the counterfeit. You no longer mistake intensity for love or attention for devotion, because you've grown into someone who knows their own worth. That inner confidence sharpens your ability to recognize when something is truly aligned with your soul. The angels remind us that this moment of recognition will not feel rushed. You will not feel pressured to grasp or control it. Instead, it will feel natural, as though life itself is unfolding in perfect rhythm. There is no need to chase or force what is already yours. When the letter arrives, whether in the form of a person, a meeting, a feeling of unshakable connection, your whole being will say yes without hesitation. It is important to trust this inner knowing, even if others around you do not understand it. The message is for you, not for anyone else to validate. That quiet certainty in your heart is the signature that proves it is real. You won't need signs to convince you. The connection itself will be the sign. Recognizing this truth will also bring peace rather than fear. Real love does not make you feel small or uncertain about yourself. It does not demand that you change who you are to earn it. Instead, it feels like love meeting love. Two souls finally speaking the same language. The recognition will come with gratitude, not desperation. When that moment comes, it will feel as though every delay, every unanswered question, every season of longing was leading you to this point. You will see how perfectly timed it is, how your soul was being prepared to recognize it without doubt or hesitation. And in that moment, you will understand what the angels have been saying all along. Love that is meant for you does not hide its face. And when it arrives, it carries a signature you could never mistake for anything else.